Mr. Davis, please mute yourself, sir.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live, streaming live on the YouTube channel. The 36th District Court is now in session. I am Judge Miriam Martin Clark presiding, and the court is calling Christopher Denson. Mr. Christopher Denson, case number SP 121-66272. The charge is open alcohol in a motor vehicle. Also count 2 of ticket number SP 382534. Count 2, no insurance. Count 3 of that same ticket, improper license. Also SP 4142871. Same defendant, no operator's license on person. SP 121-66271. Same defendant. This is an accident case. Formal hearing for an accident case. All other matters were scheduled for trial today. Mr. Denson has one other matter, SP 3825341. Christopher Denson, unregistered or untitled vehicle. Mr. Christopher Denson, if you're in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Unmute yourself, Mr. Denson.
Yes, Christopher Denson.
Thank
Sorry.
you, Mr. Denson. The court is also going to call at this time Mr. Vincent Davis, case number SP 11551-881. Vincent Maurice Davis. This is a pretrial date for Mr. Davis. The charge is driving while license suspended. Mr. Vincent Davis, if you're in the virtual courtroom, please place yourself on camera and say your name for the record.
Vincent M. Davis, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Court is also calling Ashley Roby. Ashley Roby, SP 120-66271. The charge is no insurance. And this is the date and time for show cause for Ms. Roby. Ms. Roby, if you're in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Ashley Roby.
Thank you. And Ms. Roby,
You got to call to this again.
Ms. Roby, could you put yourself on camera, please? Thank you. Thank you. If you could just be still for a moment, ma'am, we'll be finished in just a moment. And finally,
Okay.
calling Gina Durbin. Gina Durbin, case number SP 121-77061. And the charge is improper license. This is date and time for pretrial for Ms. Durbin. Count 2 of that same ticket, no insurance. Ms. Gina Durbin, if you're in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Gina Kanika Durbin.
Thank you, Ms. Durbin. Who is representing these persons today?
Good morning, Your Honor. Sharon Payne, P38749, representing the defendants.
Thank you. And Ms. Payne, as to Mr. Christopher Denson, today's the date and time for trial. Mr. Denson did have a witness present, Mr. Hilton Eli III. However, the information the court has is that the officer has failed to appear. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, then. Do you have a motion for the court?
I do, Your Honor. I move to dismiss all charges against my client.
Mr. Denson, all charges against you are dismissed, sir, without prejudice. That means the people may bring them again. The court is merely dismissing them because the officer has failed to appear and the people cannot go forward. So we thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience. And thank your witness, Mr. Eli, for coming this morning. If you have no questions, Mr. Denson, we're going to dismiss your matters and you may leave. Mr. Denson, even though these matters are being dismissed, there may be reinstatement fees that apply. And that's for all of those persons whose names were called. Even though your matters are being dismissed, the Secretary of State attaches a mandatory reinstatement fee to certain charges. I don't know if it applies to those matters with which you have been charged. They are being dismissed, but you may still have a reinstatement fee. So you need to check that. And you can do that by checking with the website, 36districtcourt.org. If you have a mandatory reinstatement fee, you will have to pay it. You can pay it with the court, and we will transfer it to the Secretary of State, but that's going to be a prerequisite to having your license fully state. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And so Mr. Denson, you may leave the meeting. Mr. Vincent Davis, Ms. Ashley Roby, and Ms. Gina Durbin. Madam House Counsel Payne, do you have a motion as to those persons?
Yes, Your Honor, I would move to dismiss the charges against those three defendants.
And that motion is granted. These matters, Ms. Davis, Ms. Roby, Ms. Durbin, are being dismissed pursuant to the prosecutor's recommendation. I'm sorry, I said Ms. Davis, I meant Mr. Davis.
It's fine. I understand what you meant.
Thank you, sir. All right, your matters are being dismissed, but the same thing applies to you. If your charge had a mandatory fee, you will owe that. It's the Secretary of State's fee, not the court's, and the court can't dismiss the fee. It will still be charged. In order to find out whether you have a mandatory fee as a condition of having your license reinstated, check the website. Make sure that you don't owe that fee so that you don't get caught driving without a license, and the reason would be that you didn't pay that reinstatement fee. Any
Yes, ma'am.
questions?
No.
Mr. Davis, Ms. Roby, Ms. Durbin, thank you for your patience, and you may leave the meeting at this time if you have no questions.
No questions. Thank you.
Have a good day.
I have a question.
Sure, Ms.
Ma'am, do I have to pay the ticket? I don't know what to do.
No, ma'am, it's dismissed.
Oh,
You may have a mandatory reinstatement fee. Check on the website. But the ticket has been dismissed pursuant to the prosecutor's recommendation.
oh, okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor. You have a blessed day and a blessed
All right.
weekend.
Thank you, ma'am. You too.
Thank
may
you
I
all.
thought I had 2 tickets today. It's only 1 or just 2? Miss Roby.
Miss Roby, your ticket, yours was a misdemeanor, no insurance. Ms. Payne, was there another ticket for Miss Roby?
Not that I know of, Your Honor. That's the only one that appeared on my docket.
So Miss
Oh,
Roby,
okay,
I don't
thank
know.
you.
Okay, so this is the ticket ending in 66271. That's the one being
Okay.
dismissed. Check on the website, make sure you don't have anything else outstanding. But that's all we saw, okay?
Thank you.
All right, ma'am, you may disconnect.
Okay.
Okay. Are we ready for our pleas? Mr. Dante Ruff?
Yes.
Oh, are we gonna do that next time, Madam Clerk, or are we doing the bench trial dates?
Bench trial dates, Your Honor.
Okay, then we're gonna call Ebony Dozier, Michael Dix, and Kizzy Davis. We can call those as a group. Ebony Dozier, case number SP 15021. Ebony Dozier, this is the date and time for pretrial, driving an unregistered or untitled vehicle, count 2 of that same ticket. driver's license suspended. Count 3, no insurance. And Z 8071941, Ebony Dozier, operating at a high blood alcohol level. If Ebony Dozier is in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Ebony Dozier.
Thank you, Ms. Dozier. Court is also calling Michael Dix. Michael Dix, case number SX370-93741. Michael Wayne Dix. This is the date and time for pretrial. The charge is improper license. If Mr. Michael Dix is in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Logged off, Your Honor.
Izzy Davis.
No, Michael Dix. I'm looking for Michael Dix.
He logged off, Your Honor.
Oh,
Okay. All right, then the court is calling Izzy Davis and the case number for Miss Davis. Is Miss Davis on the docket, or was this one that?
She's on the
She
docket.
is, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see. I can't find her.
She's the first one at 8:35.
You know what? She's not on my sheet.
Oh,
oh my gosh.
Oh, yes, she is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. SX250-29291, Kizzy Annette Davis. No operator's
Yes.
license on person. 162249821, same defendant, improper license, and count 2 of that same ticket, no insurance. So Ms. Kizzy Davis, please say your name for the record.
Kizzy Davis.
Thank you. Who is representing Dozier and Ms. Davis?
Good morning, Your Honor. Sharon Payne, P38749, representing the defendants.
Thank you. And Ms. Payne, have both these defendants been given their advice of rights this morning?
Yes, they have, Your Honor.
Are there any questions about those rights, Ms. Dozier or Ms. Davis? You
No,
understand?
ma'am.
No.
All right, ladies. Then the court is proceeding by entering not guilty pleas. Is that correct, Ms. Payne?
It's 2 not guilty pleas, and we're requesting a trial date.
All right, the court is entering not guilty pleas for each of you. For each of you, we will give you a bench trial date. Is the jury trial being waived? Ms. Payne?
Your Honor.
Yes.
So the last judge that I talked to, before this one, she went, because I told her, I said, well, 2 of these tickets have already been taken care of. She went and looked in the file, and she said, hold on, Ms. Davis. She said, I need to look at this. She went and looked in the file, and she said, you're right, Ms. Davis, these 2 tickets have been taken care of. The only one that you need to be concerned with is the one that we're gonna send you in the mail, which is the one that ends in 9822.
Your Honor, I've had an opportunity to talk to the clerk about this matter. She's indicated after she pulled it up that the 2 matters that were taken care of were civil infractions. And based upon her review of the Register of Actions, the no operator's license on person, as well as the second license violation, was still pending.
Thank you. And Ms. Davis, I know this gets confusing, but certain matters are civil infractions, and those tickets can be paid without coming before the judge. Other charges are misdemeanor offenses. The difference is, for misdemeanor offense, you could be sentenced to up to 93 days in jail. And because of that, you have to come before the judge for those charges to be adjudicated. So if you don't recall coming before the judge, they cannot be taken care of. I think that the attorney probably has the right explanation. Some of those charges were civil infractions, and so you could have paid them. But for these misdemeanor, you didn't pay them?
I did. I came and paid $350 something
Right,
at
so those
the 35th
those were the
district.
civil
So
ones.
when I spoke to the last judge that was over this, she placed me on hold. She said, "Ms. Davis, hold on for a second." She looked in the file and said and when she came back, she said, "You were right. If you could listen to the last recording of when I spoke to her the last time for the other ones," she was saying, "You're right, Ms. Davis. So the only ticket that you need to worry about is the one that we're gonna send you in the mail. That is the one that's ending in 9822. She also stated that she was like, it's a possibility that you may get some of this money back. So I know that I have this one that came in the mail for me, and that's the only one that I have. The other two, she told me that I did not need to worry about those, that they would be taken care of. If you could listen to the last recording of when I had this court date, you would be able to hear exactly what she said from verbatim of what she told me.
Okay,
However, if it's a misdemeanor or a civil infraction, I do understand. But what I was just told by the attorney that this was going to be put on hold because of the prosecutor or because it was from the state police. Because it was from the state police that it was going to be on hold and I would have to come back to you guys. And if he did not show up, that it's a possibility that it would be thrown out.
that's correct. That's correct. So that's why we're setting them for trial. Today, these matters were scheduled for pretrial. And the difference is at a pretrial hearing, the officer does not receive notice and does not have to be present. When these matters are scheduled for trial, the officer will get notification. So if he or she does not appear on the trial date, the court can dismiss the matters without prejudice. We cannot do it unless it's a trial date because the officer has not received notice to appear. So I apologize, Ms. Davis, and we thank you for your patience. But let's schedule these for trial, and then you are certain that if they are dismissed, the record will reflect that, because right now, the computer record for the court has these matters open. So
Well, like I said, if you listen to the last recording from the last judge that was over this, if you listen to the recording of what she stated to me,
I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. But the only thing I can tell you is it is not in the system.
And that shouldn't be my fault because somebody didn't do their job. That's not fair to me.
Your Honor.
No. And Ms. Davis, let me just say this. There's such a thing as human error. So I'm not going to tell you it didn't happen. There's human error. And I apologize to you on behalf of the 36th District Court for any human error that has caused you inconvenience. But the good thing is, back in the old days before the pandemic hit, you would have been in the courthouse, you would have paid those exorbitant fees to that parking lot attendant, right? And you would have had to take off work, spend your time and your gas. Fortunately, we were able to do this on Zoom. I know it's inconvenient to you, but it may have been caused by human error. I did not do that, but I'm apologizing to you, okay? So I hope you accept that apology. And we want to be fair to you. This is a court. We want to be fair to everyone, and I hope that I am. We want to be fair and courteous to everyone who appears before this court. So we will take care of these matters. When you return by Zoom, you have to come down to the court. You won't have to pay that parking lot attendant. You know, you can do this on Zoom, and the date for both you, Ms. Davis, and you, Ms. Dozier, is going to be June 13th. And these will be bench trials. Do I understand correctly, Ms. Dozier, that you're waiving your right to a jury trial?
Yes.
And Ms. Davis, do I understand correctly that you are also waiving your right to a jury trial?
Yeah, I want no jury trial.
All right, then both of your trial dates will be by Zoom on June 13 at 8:30 in the morning. June 13, 2022, 8:30 in the morning. Both of you are
Okay.
being given a personal bond. Your personal bond is continued. It means you do not have to pay any money, but you must return June 13th, and all of the matters pending before the court will be decided at that time, either by trial or dismissal, but the officer will receive notification to be here. Any other
Okay.
questions, Ms. Davis? Any questions?
I don't have any further questions. I just want to get this over with.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. And Ms. Dozier, what about you, ma'am? Any questions?
Yes. You said that the vehicle was unregistered,
Let me see, Ms. Dozier.
because that's not true. That
All
was a
right.
new-
No, let me see. Did I say that? It said driver's license suspended.
Yeah.
It said unregistered or untitled vehicle, no insurance, and operating at a high blood alcohol level.
But I do have a title. It wasn't unregistered.
Okay, bring it with you when you come.
Okay.
Bring it with you so that the prosecutor can see it, and that
Okay.
charge may be dealt with differently. Any other-
Okay.
I just
Okay.
have one question for you, Your Honor. Is it any way that from the other court, from the other judge,
Yeah, I'm
if
bringing
so,
proof.
the
Pardon?
recording can be pulled?
Well, you could get the recording, but if it's not in the system, if for any reason it didn't go into the computer, and it did not, because the clerk is very efficient and she's looking in that system, and it wasn't put there. So it's
And
not
I
gonna
understand
matter.
that she
It's
may
not
be-
gonna matter what's on the tape. If
Well,
the-
it should matter though, because in the defense
It
of myself, it
It
should matter because everything is recorded on tape, correct? And it's recorded for
But
a
what-
reason.
But she may have misspoke. And
The
if
judge?
she misspoke, sure. We're not perfect people.
I'm not
You
saying
think
that you
judges are
are,
perfect
Your
people?
Honor.
Judges
I'm not
misspeak.
saying that you are, Your Honor, but when you tell.
Can I be
the
dismissed,
defendant-
Judge?
Okay,
So that-
Ms. Dozier, you may be dismissed. And
Okay,
Ms.
thank you.
Davis, I'm so sorry, but if you want to do something, you can contact the Chief Judge's office, okay? All right, we're going forward.
Your Honor,
Yes,
can I just interject? I'm Ms. Davis. I do have the tickets that Judge Robinson Garrett wrote on. And the confusion was that the state ticket had 3 charges on it. And 2 of those charges originally were not, the ticket wasn't listed as being paid. And so we had originally taken an offer on that. And we found out afterwards that she did pay those 2 civil infractions on that state ticket. However, the judge did come up with, we did find 2 other tickets, the 2016 cases. And she did, those are the 2 cases that are set with the pretrial with the 1 case from the state ticket. So she did say that the 2 civil infractions were taken care of, but there are 3 misdemeanor tickets that have to be handled.
does that help you, Ms. Davis? And the judge
Yeah,
that did that, was that Judge Garrett, Don?
Yes, ma'am.
So Judge Garrett is very efficient. It wasn't that she misspoke. It was that she didn't know those other 2 tickets existed. Judge Garrett is so efficient that she is now in the Court of Appeals.
Wonderful.
So it was, it wasn't that kind of an error. There were 2 tickets that were not discovered at the time that she made that statement. So Ms.
And
Davis,
but that's something that she said to me, but however, I just want to get this over with so I can get my license back. Because
okay.
this
So we'll
takes
see
too
you,
much of
we'll
my
see you,
time.
Ms. Davis, on the 13th, all right? Thank you so
All
much,
right,
ma'am. Madam Clerk, we're
thank
going
you.
forward with
Yes.
the pleas now, or are we doing the sentencing? Let's do the pleas. We can get those.
Just log off.
Mr. Ruff. Yes, ma'am. You may log off. Mr. Deontay Ruff,
Yes, ma'am.
case number SP 121-62841. Driver's license never acquired, I think, is that right?
Correct.
Count 2, Deontay Ruff. This is no insurance. Both matters were scheduled for pretrial today. SP 121-58151, same defendant, failure to stop at a stop sign. Count 2 of that same ticket, no registration. If Mr. Deontay Ruff is in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Deontay Ruff.
Thank you, Mr. Ruff. Who's representing Mr. Ruff?
Good morning, Your Honor. Sharon Payne, P38749, representing Mr. Ruff. Your Honor, we've had an opportunity to pre-try this matter, and we've reached a resolution. If Mr. Ruff is going to plead responsible to ticket SP 121-58151 and SP 121-58152. And ticket number 121-58151 is going to be amended to a limited access, 60 and a 55. And the city attorney is dismissing the 2 misdemeanor tickets, SP 121-62841 and SP 121-62842. And we stipulate to probable cause.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ruff, I'm glad you stopped moving, sir. You were making me dizzy.
I apologize.
Mr. Ruff, you've heard the representation of your lawyer. Are you in agreement with that representation?
Yes.
And Mr. Ruff, do you understand that you have the right to a trial?
Yes.
And sir, normally if you were to have that trial, it would take place in person in the 36th District Court. But because of the pandemic, the courthouse is closed to the public. And so you've agreed to participate on the Zoom technology today. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Payne, the matters that Mr. Ruff is pleading to are both civil infraction. Is that correct?
That is correct. He's pleading responsible. And one of them is going to be reduced to a limited access.
And that no registration was written as a civil infraction?
It was.
Okay, sir, then the court does not need to swear you in or to go through a factual basis for civil infraction. We will need you to, however, plead that you are responsible for the facts in ticket number ending in 58151. So on the date and time and location indicated in that ticket, were you stopped by a police officer, sir? Do you recall that, Mr. Ruff? Were you stopped by a
Yes.
police officer, and had you failed to stop at a stop sign?
Yes.
Okay, sir, that ticket is being amended to limited access 60 to 55 miles. And the remaining count on that ticket is no registration. On that same date and time and location, sir, did you fail to have a valid registration with you?
I actually have a registration. It's just since I took this plea guilty, they said I ain't allowed to show it, I guess.
No.
You have your registration?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have it at that time?
No, ma'am. Yes, I did. He just didn't give me time to like look for it in the vehicle.
Your Honor, I discussed this with the city attorney, and at the time, the officer did not see the registration. However, if Mr. Ruff does not wish to take advantage of the plea offer, then it would be changed.
Okay, and we can set this matter for trial. So
Okay.
when you tell me that you can't give a factual basis or plead responsible to the charge, then I'm going to have to set it for a formal hearing. I don't know whether the same offer will apply. In other words, for this offer, the prosecutor was dismissing 2 misdemeanor charges against you in exchange for the plea of responsible to the civil infractions. But if
Yes,
you
I apologize. I do take responsibility. I'm
Miss-
sorry. I don't really never go to court or been locked up before. So this is really all new to me.
Ms. Payne, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pass for now on Mr. Ruff. I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak to Mr. Ruff again and see what he wants to do. Because Mr. Ruff, I will need you to plead that this charge is accurate.
I understand. I remember what
Okay,
you said.
we'll
I
come back to you.
apologize.
Okay, sir, we'll come back to you. It's nothing for you to apologize about. We'll come back. So I'm going to pass Mr. Ruff for now, and I'm going to go to Mr. Vincent Davis. Mr. Vincent Davis. And the case number is SP 11551-881, Vincent Maurice Davis, driver's license suspended. This is the date and time for pretrial. Mr. Davis, is he still with us or no?
Your Honor, good morning. Sharon Payne, P38749. We previously dismissed Mr. Davis's case.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. You're right. You are right. I don't know why I had him down here for a plea. Thank you, ma'am. So the only other person scheduled for plea this morning is Rihanna Dorsey. Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll call Miss Dorsey. Case number SP 121-758-51. Rihanna Brooklyn Dorsey, improper license. That matter scheduled for pretrial. Also, SP 121-75451, same defendant. This is an accident case, 361. Count 2 of that same ticket, no registration. And count 3, no proof of insurance. If Ms. Rihanna Dorsey is in the virtual courtroom, please say your name for the record.
Rihanna Dorsey.
Thank you. And who's representing Ms. Dorsey?
Good morning, Your Honor. Sharon Payne, P38749, representing Ms. Dorsey. We've had an opportunity to pre-try this matter with the city attorney. This morning, my client will be pleading responsible to ticket P121-75451, which is the accident 365, failing to stop at a red signal. And the city attorney is going to be dismissed without prejudice, and we will stipulate to probable cause to ticket P121-7545, counts 2 and 3, and P121-75851.
All right. Thank you very much. So the accident matter.
It's actually failure to stop at a red signal.
Okay, so it's being amended to failure to stop?
No, that I believe is the city code, but
Oh, okay. Really? Was there an accident in fact?
not to my knowledge. Is that correct, Ms. Rihanna? Ms. Dorsey, I'm sorry.
What's the question? Did an accident happen?
Accident?
Yes.
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 There was an accident.
Yes.
What happened? Did you run into, well, let me start this. You've heard the representation of your lawyer. Are you in agreement with that representation?
Yes.
And ma'am, were you advised of your right to a trial?
Yes.
And you understand, Ms. Dorsey, if you were to have a trial, normally it would take place inside the 36th District Court, but because of the pandemic, the courthouse is closed to the public. And so you've agreed to participate on the Zoom technology today, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to speak to your attorney about all of your rights?
Yes.
Did anyone threaten you, force you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea?
No.
Are you pleading guilty of your own free will?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
And you understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving or giving up your right to a trial. Is that correct?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, you may lower your hand. And on the date, the time, and the location indicated in the ticket ending in 175451, Ms. Dorsey, you want to tell the court what happened? It's written as an accident case. And you told me that there was an accident, right?
Yes, there was.
What happened?
So I was driving up to make a left turn, and I thought that it was a blinking red light, but once the accident happened, everyone was telling me, well, when the police showed up, they were saying it was a red light. But I honestly thought it was a blinking red light. So I went to turn left, and someone was driving.
Were they injured? Was it significant damage?
No, they weren't injured.
Was their car damaged?
I'm honestly not sure. Once the accident happened, and the police showed up, they didn't really.
Did the
They
person
didn't.
keep going? Or did the
No,
person
they
stop?
didn't.
Did they
Yes,
get
they
your
stopped.
information?
No, they didn't get my information.
And they must not have been seriously damaged. I'm going to assume they weren't, since you were turning. You weren't driving fast, were you?
No, I was turning, and honestly, in my opinion, I felt like the other person was driving fast. That's why we collided. He hit the side of the car.
He hit the side of your car, or you hit the side of his car?
He hit the side of the car that I was driving.
Oh, okay. And was there damage to your car?
Yes.
But the police evidently believe that you caused this accident. That's why you got the ticket.
Yes. The police honestly didn't even talk to me. They never asked for registration. They never asked for insurance. I don't know if it's because I was young, but they never talked to me. They only talked to the man.
Okay.
They only asked for my name, and that was pretty much it, and where I lived at.
Ms. Payne, I don't know
Okay.
if this matter is appropriate for a plea.
Okay, Your Honor, actually, it was a plea of responsible. She was pleading to the civil infraction, not to the misdemeanor. But if the court wishes to set up,
But is that accident a civil infraction?
what
It's listed as that, Your Honor.
Pardon?
It is listed as a civil infraction.
361 is a civil infraction?
That's how they have it listed on the ticket, correct? I can look up the offense code.
Okay, well,
what
if it's listed as a civil infraction and she's acknowledging that it did happen, there's some concern that I have, though, that she's indicating it wasn't she wasn't at fault. But if you said, Miss Dorsey, that it was a blinking light, do you acknowledge that it was a blinking light? You thought it was a stable light, a stable red light. Is that what you told me?
I thought it was a blinking red light.
You thought it was a blinking red light, but it was not. It was a stationary red light, correct?
Apparently, yes.
So you were wrong about it being a blinking light,
Yes.
correct? So if that's the case, then it would have been appropriately your fault. It is a civil infraction. I took more information than I needed because I thought it was a misdemeanor offense. But I will accept the plea to responsible unless your attorney has some concern about that. Ms. Payne?
If we could just, voir dire, Ms. Dorsey?
Yes.
Do you plead responsible for disregarding a signal?
Yes, but can I ask a question?
Your Honor, I think maybe set it for trial.
Okay.
Just
All
plead.
right. Since you have, Ms. Dorsey, the reason we're doing this is not to, punish you or cause you any difficulty. But if you are not sure that you should take this plea, we don't want you to, be dissatisfied and go back on this in the future and say that you didn't understand what you were doing. So I can allow you to withdraw that plea. We'll set the matter for trial, notify the officer to be present, and then we can get the facts on the record. So I'm going to allow that plea to be withdrawn. And Ms. Dorsey, we're going to give you a new date. It will be a trial date. Madam Clerk, is it going to be June 13?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, June 13, 8:30 in the morning. It will be a Zoom connection. I want you to be clear on what you are pleading to. It was just a plea of responsible, which is less serious than a guilty plea, but I want you to nonetheless be crystal clear about your rights and your plea. So June 13, ma'am, 8:30 in the morning, connect the same way that you did today, and we will see you then. Your bond is continued. $1,000 personal bond. I'm sorry, it's a personal bond, not a $1,000 personal bond, just a personal bond. And you won't have to pay any money. You just come back on June 13, 8:30 in the morning. Okay?
Okay, but can I ask you a question if that's okay?
Sure.
So, honestly, after the accident, I was unsure of if the light was blinking or if it was like a steady light, a steady red light. And I just want to know, is there a way that we can figure out what it was, if it was blinking or if it was stable?
Ms. Payne, you can advise her about that and let her know. And you can, I'm sure that information is available. And Ms. Payne can tell you how to access that. And then you can come with that verification on June the 13th.
Okay.
Okay, so either you can get verification one way or the other, and then you'll feel more comfortable with your plea. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So if you want to stay on, I have one more case to do. So I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. Can we do that, Madam Clerk? And then we can do the sentencing, and then Ms. Payne can speak to Ms. Dorsey about how to access the information that she's seeking.
Also, Your Honor, we have to speak to Mr. Ruff. I believe he's in the waiting room too.
Okay, so we'll put you back there and let's do our sentencing, and then you can speak to both those persons.
All right.
How's our time going? Okay, we need to go forward. Okay, thank you. We're going to call Mr. Ross, Mr. Tony Ross. Today
Ma'am.
is waiting time for sentencing. Let me call the case number. This is case number Z80823331, Tony Darnell Ross. The charge is operated while intoxicated. Mr. Ross, if you're in the virtual courtroom, sir, please say your name for the record.
Tony Darnell Ross.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. And who's representing Mr. Ross?
Good morning, Your Honor. Sharon Payne appearing on behalf of Mr. Tony Ross, P. 38749. Your Honor, this is the date and time for sentencing. There is a pre-sentence report. I have had an opportunity to go over the pre-sentence report with Mr. Ross. We have no corrections, deletions, or additions.
Thank you.
We would ask the court to follow the recommendation of the pre-sentence report. The only issue, Your Honor, is that the report indicates that he needs to complete the Needs Plus survey. And my client has communicated to me that when he spoke with the probation officer, he did not get that survey forwarded to him, so he was unable to complete it, but he will definitely do that once it is given to him.
Okay. All right. And the court also received a copy of that probation assessment and report. And we have read it and reviewed it. And Mr. Ross, I want to tell you that I am also a trailblazer.
Yes, Central.
High school, Central High School, yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to be very special to me. You're going to be very special to me. And I am concerned with what I'm concerned with what I've read. And you've indicated, sir, that the factual basis of the report is accurate. So I don't really need to go through it publicly on the YouTube channel. You and I both know what it says, and I'm really concerned. Alcohol and motor vehicles are a lethal combination.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot tell you, in the 20 years I was on the bench, how many painful cases I heard that involved alcohol and driving. So I am going to follow the probation report. I would like to say, sir, that you will need to pay that assessment fee. There's a $100 assessment fee charged for the preparation of the report. What I wanted to ask you another question too, but anyway, you're going to be responsible for that fee of $100.
Okay.
Something interested me in addition to your alma mater and mine. Your report also indicates that you went to Henry Ford Community College in
Yes, ma'am.
theater arts. So what,
Yes, ma'am.
were you an actor? Are you an actor?
Well, truthfully, I was supposed to go to U of M for computer assisted drafting, but the class didn't open up yet. So I ended up going to Henry Ford Community College because it was right down the street. And truthfully, I'm an Aquarius. Yeah, I'm an Aquarius. So I'm really, truthfully, I was supposed to be shy. But doing the theater thing, I did plays.
You were supposed to be shy. What did you
I was
say?
supposed to be shy. I'm an Aquarius. I was really humble and shy and everything. But taking the theater class, it happened to maybe open myself up to people.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you
I did
enjoyed
a
that?
couple.
Were you any good?
I loved it. Yeah, I did.
You're supposed to do what you love. You know, that same story I heard before. It was Michael Jackson's story. You know, they say Michael Jackson was so shy.
Mm-hmm. He went
until
open
he got on stage. And then when he got on stage,
different person.
another person came out. You know, so that's not unusual. for artistic, talented people. And if that's something that you're good at and you enjoy, Mr. Ross, I only bring that up to you because you probably should be pursuing that more vigorously than you have been. And there are outlets, I don't know, Detroit Repertory Theater. You should look into that. And there's also Plowshare. Anyway, I digress, but there's some opportunities for you. Maybe we'll talk about that after this sentencing, but you will have to pay that $100. And I can tell you that sometimes the background that includes the kind of pain that you have experienced in your life is helpful for you. Several very successful actors have even been in jail and served jail time. There are quite a few of them. Google it. It'll probably say some in Detroit.
Samuel L. Jackson. I know a lot of them.
So that's not something that should be a detriment to you necessarily. It can be an asset, but drinking will keep you from realizing your potential, drinking and driving. Because what I think, Mr. Ross, is that your assessment shows that you have a propensity toward being an alcoholic. And that means you can't drink. And you certainly can't drink and drive. And what I used to tell people all the time was that alcohol, for some people, is like kryptonite. And you know what that means, because
Yes.
Who could not be near kryptonite.
Yes.
Who?
Superman. Superman.
Absolutely. So that is your kryptonite. But the court is going to, as we say, follow the recommendation. You shall not possess any illegal drugs or alcohol. For the record, it does not show that you were under the influence of any drugs, illegal drugs at the time. The court's going to also order you to attend the victim's impact panel and the alcohol and highway safety intervention class level 1. We're also going to recommend that you have random urinalysis twice monthly. And I believe the clerk told me that the court lab has opened up. And so, Madam Clerk, is that going to be, that urinalysis going to be at the court's lab or elsewhere?
They said that the lab has opened up, so I guess it would be dependent on what the probation officer decides.
Yes, thank you. The probation officer will let you know where you will take those random urinalysis tests. This report also recommends that you obtain a mental health evaluation. It can't hurt, Mr. Ross, so I am going to order it. You've been through some things, and you and I both know that sometimes that can have an effect on you that you don't even realize how it's affected you until you go through at least an evaluation to see whether that is having a greater effect on you than you even realize. So I am going to order that. And then we're going to order outpatient treatment for substance abuse. And we're going to order Alcoholics Anonymous meetings at least once weekly to start. And then I am also going to order a 6-month review. And I'm doing that, Mr. Ross, because you're special. You're a trailblazer. And I want to check on you and make sure that you're following the court's order. And that you don't need any further intervention. If you have any violations of this sentence at the 6-month review period, then I'm going to recommend that you be transferred to the drug treatment court, because then I'm going to think that you have a more serious problem than we're aware of, and that you need even a more strict intervention. But I think, I really think, Mr. Ross, that pursuing and acting something that you're good at, that you have talent for, it could be a blessing for you. And sometimes, you know, there's intervention in your life for a reason, because this could have been far more deadly than it turned out to be. So sometimes God gets your attention for a reason, and we're going to hope that that's the case here, so that this completely redirects your life and turns you around. And like we say, we're trailblazers. You don't know what's in store for a trailblazer.
Yeah.
So we want, and there are no accidents when you meet someone in your life who intervenes like this. So I'm gonna think that you were supposed to meet me today. You were supposed to run into a fellow alum, and we connected already. All right, so your costs and fines are as follows. Your fine will be $300. And this is all in addition to the $100 assessment fee. Your cost will be $65. The crime victim's rights fee is $75. Your supervisory fee is $35 a month, and that totals $420 for the year. Your urinalysis fees are $240. That's $10 every time you're tested. So your grand total for the year is $1,200. Am I correct, Ms. Lurst?
Yes, Your Honor.
$1,200. So you will have the entire year to pay that amount, but don't wait until the end of the year to pay it.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
And that $100 assessment fee, pay that first, so we can get that out of the way. But it'll be a total of $1,200, and that includes, you know, as we say, all your urinalysis fees. Plowshares Theater is a recommendation to you, and also the Detroit Repertory Theater. I'm serious. It's on Woodrow Wilson. You know the neighborhood, don't you?
Yes.
You know,
I sure do.
that theater was there.
You know what? I never knew that.
It's on Woodrow.
I know it's one on Cass and I think Cass is second.
Well,
It's
that's
a theater there also.
Is there a repertory theater? That's the Wayne State Theater, isn't it?
Yes.
Not that one, but the Repertory and Plowshares. Look into it. Plowshares was at Northwest Activity Center for a while, but just look it up and see whether there's something that you can get involved with. And that's just an aside, because I think that will help. In fact, the probation office may even be able to give you referral to that, because if you're good, you should pursue it. If you're good, you should. So we're going to give you a 6-month review date today. And Madam Clerk, what date is that going to be?
September 15th.
Okay, September 15th, sir. And if there are any violations on September 15th, we will refer you to the 36th District Court Drug Court Program, which is a far more intense and strict supervisory program for you. Do you have any questions, Mr. Ross?
How do I pay the fees?
Well, the probation officer will tell you, but you and I guess don't pay them directly to the probation office, but he can pay them through the website. Isn't that correct, Ms. Lurst?
Yes, Your Honor. They can be made at the at any DivDat location where you pay your utility bills, or it can be paid online through the court website. And there is a phone pay system. I can give you that number if you want to use the phone system as well.
And it will be in the system. I just wanted to know if that was, if he pays in the same way that the other fines and costs are paid, but
Yes,
not
ma'am.
through the you would not pay the probation officer. Just know that. You pay directly to
Okay.
but you will be given a probation officer who will follow through with your sentencing.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll
Yes.
give you that information. So Madam Clerk, you have everything you need from Mr. Ross to give him his sentence and
I do, Your Honor.
the next step. Okay. Okay, Mr. Ross, I'm expecting great things from you. You know why?
Because we Centralites. We trailblazers.
That's right.
And the funny thing is, I'm on Facebook with Central.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, I can't say the same. I don't do much Facebook, but I've been back. I've been back several times. So yeah.
I go up there every time I go past there. I just stop up there just for a second because I used to play football at Central because I was under Coach Thomas.
Okay.
So I went to learn how to swim there.
Me too.
Matter of fact, I went to Clinton, to Post, and then Central.
And I went to Roosevelt, which you probably don't even know about.
It's right down the street.
Central.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think because Roosevelt isn't that on Puritan?
It was all next door. It was at that time, I think they tore down. They were
Roosevelt
all right on the same campus.
on the same thing. Just go straight. Matter of fact, Roosevelt's connected. What they did was this. They connected Roosevelt to Central.
Okay.
So now it's just one big school.
All right,
So
sir.
basically, you leave Roosevelt, you go right to the door, and you go to Central.
And they still have that statue, Wing Victory, in the hallway.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna let you go because my docket isn't finished. Wakanda.
Forever.
All right,
All right,
you may
thank you.
disconnect. Thank you.
too.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Now, are we going to leave the live stream and let Ms. Payne go back with Mr. Ruff and Ms. Dorsey?
Okay.
And then we'll come back and see what we need to do with those two.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let me see.
Ms. Dorsey,
Yes.
I'm going to send you a request to join a breakout room, and Attorney Payne will be in with you shortly. Okay. Actually, I'm
Okay.
going to send you a request for room 13. One moment.
Okay.
And then you did send me a chat. And was this regarding Miss Dorsey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you might want to make Ms. Payne aware of what that file indicates, because you're telling me
Yes,
there
ma'am.
is a report. So let
She
me
has a copy of the ticket, Your Honor, and it's on the ticket.
Okay, so if she still has any hesitation, we will just set her matter for trial.
Okay.
So you
Ms.
know,
Dorsey?
okay,
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
guys